Not so attractive guys. What did you do to get the girl? We were coworkers. We used to talk a lot and clicked when it came to sense of humor and goofing around. To quickly became good friends and then started dating. I was giving her genuine affection without an ulterior motive. Her family constantly put her down and was tough-faced when it came to being nice. I was the counter to that. I was the escape. I finished my degree and moved with her 4 hours away. It was close enough to visit if we wanted, but too far for her family to drop by unannounced. We finally had a calm life away from the stress and strife that her family caused. Then after she had her calm life, she no longer needed her escape and couldn't ignore the fact that she never actually wanted me as a person. She only wanted what I represented, what I no longer needed to provide. So she started cheating on me with someone who she was actually attracted to behind my back and his wife's back. 7 years gone. My love life has been downhill since then. She fell off the stage while dancing at a nightclub and I caught her. She was a solid 8.5 and I'm a 6. No way I would have spent the night with her if I didn't save her from breaking her neck, haha. One of my old HS friends, bless his soul, is pretty much the opposite of everything a girl typically wants in a guy. He's overweight, has poor hygiene, is chronically lazy, works a dead-end job in fast food, likes video games too much, etc. The shocking thing is that over the 7 or so years I've known him, he's had a number of girlfriends. The secret is that all the girls he's dated have been equally unattractive. Honestly, that's basically it. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary to get them. I have a beautiful girl who loves me unconditionally and we cuddle all of the time. The trick is to go on lots of walks with them. Also adopting from the shelter because those are the ones that need it the most. By being myself and no more than slightly going above and beyond. And always remember, shoot for the stars. Not all of them can get out of the way fast enough. You'd be surprised by what you can get by not psyching yourself out cause you think she might not like you. I had a high school friend that would ask out any good looking girl. He asked out more girls in school than any of our friends combined. He had 0 girlfriends. He always had dates to every dance, but never a date. He kept it up and married a great gal. Pretty much the first girl to say yes. He is a successful dude and they have an awesome marriage. Lots of girls wish they hadn't turned him down. I'm not a guy, but one of my friends, who just happens to have one of the happiest seeming relationships I know, has been with a guy that can be described as aesthetically challenged for 2 years now. He also never went to university, which is rare, since all my girlfriends have boyfriends who are currently in uni / have already graduated, and she used to say to me that it was a deal breaker for her. Everyone knew he was crazy about her, but she wasn't interested at all. We know him through some mutual friends, and 2 years ago we were on a party where my friend was very upset since she was having some problems. She got very drunk and ended up crying on his shoulder. Things led to another, and she ended up spending the night at his place. The next morning she sends a message how he made her breakfast and that she will marry this guy. Let's just say he made a huge impression on her. I've always been unattractive to myself. This year, I started going to the gym and lifting weights and exercising. After doing that for a couple of weeks, I began to carry myself differently, like I was showing off my gains. In the last half year alone I've had 3 girls ask me out. I didn't agree due to personal reasons. When conversing with them, I actually found that they liked things like my sense of humor, the way I treated women, and they even admitted finding me attractive. I think the LPT is to be confident with yourself. The ultimate goal is for you to be happy, and if you're doing what makes you happy, things will eventually fall into place. Phase 1. Become best friends with a really hot girl. Phase 2. Do not make any sort of romantic move for several years. Phase 3. Provide emotional and financial support as a string of jerk boyfriends come in and out of her life. Phase 4. One day profess your love for her and sit back as she proclaims that she loves you and always secretly dreamed of this day. I'm currently on phase 3. I plan on initiating phase 4 any day now. I liked her, but she did not seem to think of me as boyfriend material. I looked like a poor impersonation of Team America's Matt Damon puppet. After a few pleasant, but very proper and friendly dates, I tried to explain I was more and more attached to her. She was surprised and replied she did not really think of us like this. After a few days crying away my pain and replacing the tears with whiskey, I was resigned to only see her as a friend and invited her to a walk in the park to enjoy one of those rare summer days. Turns out it rained cats and dogs that day, so we went to the Natural History Museum instead. I walked her through the skeletons of dinosaurs, Triceratops, Plesiosaurus, Allosaurus and the likes. I named them and explained how fascinated I was with these creatures when I was younger. We talked for a long time about dinosaurs, sea mammals, life, the universe, and the rest. It took a few more dates before I finally got the courage to kiss her. But that dinner date was the turning point of her relationship according to her. The one afternoon where she actually thought, hey, this guy is cute. We will get married next year. TL. Doctor, dinosaurs got me a wife. This probably will be buried, but as a 53-year-old I think I bring some perspective to this question. Just because you might place a high value on physical attractiveness, don't assume all, or even a majority of, women do this. Simply put, they don't. Physical attractiveness has virtually no impact in the long run. Got attractive. Lost 70 pounds. Drastically changed my personal hygiene and style. After that I was getting more dates a week than I had days off work. Found the love of my life shortly after. Basically, if you're being the best you can be, you'll have the confidence to know that any woman would love you. My wife is 10 years younger than I. She pretty much could have her pick of just about any guy out there. She is tall, blonde, and has an amazing figure. I met her about 10 years before we started dating through her work. She was a CSR at an auto parts store, and I work on a lot of cars. So we got to know each other pretty well. I ran into her outside of her work one day in 2014, and we struck up a conversation. I never thought I had the remotest chance of dating a woman like her. Next thing I know, we are at a homecoming football game. What do that her past guys didn't? I treat her right. I don't lie to her. I hold doors. I tell her I love her. I emotionally support her. I stand up for her. I have her back. Her son is now my son. I actually listen. I write her notes. She is my queen. And I make sure she knows it. My ex likes to use his background in education to pretend he has compassion, and girls get all warm fuzzy. I fell for it. I was like, what a caring, compassionate person. He's obese, not much of a looker, clumsy, a prick, but God is he a great speaker, well read, and knows how to act just aloof enough to not seem clingy and desperate. And then he will become codependent. He bragged about using his education background on Tinder. All talk, no substance. AI. Don't date people who get into education as a backup career for their academic fantasies and then pretend to be social justice warriors when plan A falls back. So much bull poop on here about ugly people have to stick to ugly people. Bull. You really think that super hot chick did nothing to be super hot? It takes work. If you're not that attractive, go to gym, get in shape, work on personality by being friendly with strangers, working on conversation, thereby possibly figuring out how to hold a productive conversation with the goal to hold it with a person you're attracted to. Change your habits. Don't be a disgusting slob. Dress nicely, put effort into your appearance, even if you look like a goblin, because then it shows you care enough to put the effort in. It takes work. That will go a long way. Personality and confidence will go a long way as well. She was having a really rough time and I saw her crying one day at lunch, so I reached out to her, talked a little, but it was clear she wasn't interested. Just gave up. 8 months later, I get a text from her asking what my Snapchat is, with a smiley face, and we ended up going on a date. The key: just be a nice person, and don't try to force anything. Be confident. No matter how ugly you are, if you have a clear face, decent hair, and no acne, someone will find you attractive. It is a numbers game, so you just have to keep being confident, keep asking girls out, and keep thinking positively. Improve every day. Also remember that every guy gets rejected. Every. Going to be buried, but here's what I know works. If you're just a laid back cool MF with a casual air of confidence, you're going to succeed with women. I know a couple guys that would be rated 4s or 5s that were constantly banging 8, 10s because of the way they acted. Friendly but not enough to get friend-zoned, confident but not arrogant, engaging but distant, funny but not on all the time, direct but not overwhelming. Lots of guys make the mistake that women want a friendship, and if you're a nice guy first they'll see how great you are. Bullpoop. They want a little mystery and a confident guy that's not hanging on them all the time like a pet or best girlfriend when they're deciding if you're duckable/dateable. Leave a little mystery and for God's sake back the duck off and let little interactions breathe. A lot of times the less interest you show in the opposite gender, the more you're going to get out of it in the long run, as opposed to being their puppy. Edit. On the flip side of this, the best looking friend I've had, and honestly one of the best looking men I've ever seen, had a hard time landing 5s as girlfriends or one-nighters because he was so clingy and overwhelming when it came to talking to girls. Seriously, dude could have had all the 10s he could handle if only he was a mute.